Tom Mix and things that like that would come on in the afternoon after we got home from school. And also some girly programs that I don't want to listen to. And we had a fight over them every day till finally Mama said, well, one of y'all gonna have it one day and the next day. And so on the day that I didn't have it, I'd go up to Wallace Smith's and listen to it with him. And the day that Ida didn't have it, she'd go over to Mrs. Mitchell, who Mr. Mitchell was a fellow who ran the mill, and listen to her radio programs with Ms. Mitchell.
Well,
But that didn't stop us from fighting.
Another good thing that resulted from the flood was that after grandmother closed the store, then she was up there alone and getting up in years, a little older. So every time the brothers and sisters got together, the main topic is, what are we going to do about mother? What are we going to do about mother? So the flood solved that problem. That was solved. Mm-hmm. I don't think of any negative. I mean, probably you can. Your home was gone, your childhood home.
What?
Negative impacts from the flood. Your childhood home was washed away, and I suppose that's a negative thing.
It would, that house could have been lived in. People that went into it that never been in there thought it was wrecked. Hell, it was almost like it was before. One floor went this way, and one floor went that way, and one floor went that way. I mean, because it was a piecemeal building.
Right.
And it didn't have a basement, it didn't have a real foundation.
Or any insulation.
Set up on rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I didn't want anybody, and neither did the rest of the kids, want anybody to live in that house. And I got some calls and about selling it to them, and I said, no. And I got Ned Bolin, who's another cousin, who was John's friend, and he's a story in himself. He never dated any women, and he was a carpenter, and he was a good carpenter, but he got on drunks, and he lived with just his mother, Aunt Sally, and when he was 55, she got sick, and they got a nurse to come out and live with her. Just Uncle Ned and the nurse. And a week after she died, he married the nurse and quit drinking altogether. And I mean, Uncle Ned, Cousin Ned was a person that, when he got drunk, you'd find him in the churchyard, passed out.
The story I heard was that he came to the nurse when she was there taking care of his mother and said, is there anything I can do? She said, yes, you can. You can sober up and live the way you're supposed to. Mm. And he did.
And not only did that, he married her.
And he married.
And they lived right, did they live right by the church?
They lived on the opposite side of the church from where we lived.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And it washed their house away.
Yeah, because there's nothing there now.
And no, the Mennonites came in and built him a little house. Belongs to the church now.
That's on the little house there that's on the church property?
It wasn't the church property then, it was his home.
Okay.
And it was,
But it's a very little house. If it's still there, because I
Small
don't.
house.
Yeah, it's an extremely small house because I don't.
and that's where Father's mother lived. She was a bowling,
Okay.
and he was a bowling. And John and Ned were big buddies, and they were polar bears. They'd go swimming in the river, take a bath all year long. Down right at Ned's house. And as I told you, John lived with us until he died real young, 32 or 3 years old. And I was about 9. And everybody loved John. He played the guitar and sang. And when he'd go to the Johnny house, he'd take his guitar with him. And he could sing, and he had a wonderful tenor voice, and he could sing loud enough that people all over the village could hear.
And this was the Johnny house that sat right over top of the river.
Yeah. Of course, when I was born, they already had running water in the house and a bathtub. But most of the time, the men, if it wasn't too cold, would go to the Johnny house.
So, what time do you think we started this, Andy? I'm trying to figure out how much more time we got.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I just go for it.
I'm gonna transition now. I'm not sure if you all know, but I sent out to